Hello everyone, my name is Tin Yu Tong. Today's goal is to critical Gualanga the Green Tree Talk lesson plan. I will critically analyze the benefit and weakness of this lesson plan for Torres Strait Island and indigenous students. Some critical suggestions are given to better help Torres Strait and indigenous students to get better learning results. First, according to ASO's description of professional standard for teachers, a good indigenous teacher needs to be professionally engaged by having expertise, professional practice, and encourage students thereby having them to become motivated learners. Teachers need to build relationships with students and teach them effectively. Understanding the culture and traditions of indigenous community is then essential, and teachers need to create a safe and inclusive learning environment. The Australia curriculum shows that all students should have equal access to education, and this includes Indigenous and Torres Strait students. This is because the evidence shows that they do not have access to good educational opportunity. There is a big gap between non-Indigenous and Indigenous students. The Australia curriculum says that the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island students are able to see themselves, their identity, and their culture reflected in the curriculum of each of the learning area, can fully participate in the curriculum, and can build their self-esteem. And also they state that the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Island histories and cultural cross-curriculum poverty is designed for all students to engage in reconciliation, respect, and recognition of the world's oldest continuing living cultures. Aboriginal ways of learning is created by Paganamaha, help indigenous students meet their learning needs. This framework helps educators understanding the traditional learning style used by indigenous students. This learning style builds on deep connection that indigenous people have with their lands, culture, and tradition. The first type of learning is through story sharing. This involves listening to the story of older and community members to gain knowledge about history, culture, and value. The second way is through observation and participation in cultural activities such as dance and ceremony. The third way is through experiential learning, where learners engage in hands-on activities that allow them to learn by doing. The fourth way is through nonverbal communication, such as symbol. The fifth way is through terrestrial learning, which includes connecting with nature and understanding the relationship between human and the environment. The sixth way is through community-based learning. The seventh way is through questioning. And finally, the eighth way is through learning involved recognition. That all things are interconnected and independent. interdependent. We will now critically analyze the strengths and weaknesses of Goalanga, the Green Tree Fox lesson plan, through this 8 learning framework. Regarding to the lesson plan for Green Tree Fox, this includes 3 learning frameworks for indigenous students. They are story sharing, land link, and non-linear. First, Goalanga the Green Tree Fox is a simple story about connecting with nature. The age of the curriculum is foundation year to year 2. The author created story based on her own experience growing up on a farm. The main theme of this book is about conservation. It emphasizes the importance of protecting environment and natural resources. This book is written in English and Gamilaroi, an indigenous language. This enables it to be read by both non-indigenous and indigenous students and promote cultural diversity. In addition, this book applies of bright colors, which attract readers, especially young readers. After students read this story, they write about their own experience and share them, which connect to the learning framework approach. They share their story. At the same time, they are connected to the natural environment through reading this book. However, this lesson plan needs to be improved. Are indigenous students able to write their story through writing? Writing offers Aboriginal students the opportunity to express their experience. However, writing for Indigenous students can be a challenging process. They can face many difficulties in this area, including cultural difference and lack of resources. Many indigenous cultures have oral traditions that prioritize storytelling over written communication. This can make it difficult for students to understand the convention of academic writing, which often require a more formal tone and structure than traditional storytelling. At the same time, lack of resource is a significant challenge for indigenous students. Indigenous students who live in remote areas may not have adequate resources to help them. The area I would suggest for improvement is to eliminate writing. Students can express their story through drawing or oral narration. The second area of improvement is that after reading, the teacher can ask questions about the book to help students understand the book and share their story with family or friends, which develop their critical thinking and meet the community link in the learning framework. Conclusion: Walanga the Green Trees Flocks lesson plan is an excellent lesson plan. This book promotes cultural awareness and environmentalism among indigenous and non-indigenous students. At the same time, the book allows indigenous and non-indigenous students to respect, participate, and acknowledge indigenous culture, and they are able to gain their identity in discourse. By reading the book, they connect with the environment and the land, and gain knowledge about history and culture. All it takes is a change in this way students express their idea, and then it will be more appropriate for them. Thank you for your listening, and this is my reference list.